Ndewo, Keduki Mere, Adima. I just said hello. How are you doing? I'm doing fine. So hopefully you're doing well as well. And as I typically do, just take a little time out here to continue to learn my ancestral language, being the Igbo language of Nigeria. And of course, for those that have been studying along, it's definitely hopefully benefiting you, as most African Americans have a lineage, family history that comes from the Igbo tribe of Nigeria. And the studies so far are saying that about 60% of African Americans have at least one Igbo ancestor. So that's pretty much covering us there. So just going to do as I typically do, just 10 quick words, and it keeps me in practice. And as I've learned, you don't just try to learn it, silently in your head. You have to actually practice it to train your mouth, in order to form the words and project it correctly. Remember that Igbo is a tone language, so how you say something is just as important as what you say. So we're going to continue the topic, just 10 words again today, that's called Nka na Ntorondo, which means arts and entertainment in Nigeria, which is a very huge industry. I read somewhere that actually Nollywood, the movie house of Nigeria, actually produces more movies in volume than anyone else in the entire world. So it's definitely a major thing going on there. And my wife and I frequently watch Nollywood movies and enjoy them. But again, we're studying the topic, arts and entertainment, which again is pronounced in Igbo as Nka na Ntorondo. Nka means art, Na means and Ntorondo means entertainment. All right, so on to it, to our lesson here. After, again, just put my picture up after I came back from Nigeria in 2019. And of course, that's one of the outfits that I brought back, and I wear on occasion. A little cold down here to do it now here in Alabama, but when it gets warm, I'll bring them back out of the wardrobe. All right, moving down, scrolling down to our 10 words. We're going to start with the word for playwright. In Igbo, it's basically made of two words. It would be Ede, Egwuregwu for playwright. So Ede, Egwuregwu is playwright. And of course, it comes from two words. It comes from the word Ede, which means to write or writing specifically, and Egwuregwu, which means plays. To write a play in English, in short, is to be a playwright. So again, it's Ede, Egwuregwu for playwright. Next one is one that my wife and I actually kind of argue about in English as to the proper pronunciation of this carbonated beverage. Of course, I was born and raised in Michigan, so in Michigan, our culture, we called it a pop. My wife being from St. Louis, they called them sodas. My family in Memphis would call it Pepsi. No matter what brand it was, no matter what flavor it was called a Pepsi there. So you'll have arguments all over the world, or all over the United States, as to what you call this carbonated beverage. But I'm going to go with pop, since it's my actual original language out of Michigan. And the Igbos actually call it the same thing. So the Igbos actually say Pau-Poe for pop, Pau-Poe for pop, or also known as soda. And again, you have two special characters. The ones with the periods underneath are called diacritics. And so the one with the O, with the dot underneath it, is like like auto. The U with the O, the dot underneath it, is like in hard O sound. So that's why you hear me saying Pau-Poe for pop. Again, Pau-Poe, pop. All right, popcorn. So again, you have those special characters. The O with the dot underneath, the diacritic makes that aw sound, like auto. The U makes with the dot underneath makes the O sound. And so we'll go through and try it now. So popcorn is really kind of an adaptation of an English word. Just almost you can think of it as putting the Igbo accent on it to make it fit into the Igbo language. So popcorn would be Pau-Poe-Kau-Noe for popcorn. So Pau-Poe-Kau-Noe is popcorn. So one more time, you can try to say it with me. Pau-Poe-Kau-Noe, popcorn. All right, rap. Yes, that which started in the South Bronx here in the United States has traveled worldwide, and you actually have a pretty big industry as far as rappers, or also known as hip-hop artists, over in Nigeria. So there's a word for it even in Igbo. In Igbo, it's Rah-Poe for rap. Rah-Poe for rap. Because again, you got that U with the dot underneath, gives it an O sound. So Rah-Poe, rap. So again, just 2 syllables. Rah-Poe, rap. All right, producer is a little more difficult to say. Like a movie producer is really what you're talking about, or a music producer, so forth and so on. But the generic term for a producer is made of 3 words. It's made of the word Aun-Yea, which means person. And typically when you're talking about a person, you start with the word Aun-Yea in Igbo, and then you describe what type of person. So that's what the other 2 words are, is a type of person. So that next word is, if you want to pronounce it properly, is na-emebe. And then and that one means designing. So you just said the person designing, and ihe means an item. So you just said, to say producer in English, you would say the person designing an item, which means a producer. Now, of course, it gets tricky in this one because in Igbo, you have contractions just like you have them in English. Like again, a contraction in English is don't, which comes from do not. So when you have don't, you have dropped some letters. And you do the same thing in Igbo. And in this case, you drop the A that's out of the na wording there, so you get rid of that, and you drop the second E that's in this third E actually in this sentence. So you're dropping 2 characters, so it changes the pronunciation completely. So the pronunciation becomes Aun-Yea Nah-A-May-Bea Hay. Aun-Yea Nah-A-May-Bea Hay. When you pronounce it informally, which you'll run into more often than the proper way that I said it actually. All right, so we'll move on. So those are, you'll run into a lot of those in Igbo. So it's just kind of just one of those things, committing that to memory. And pretty much that's all you can do just through practice. All right, reggae, of course, that's which Jamaica created. It also is extremely huge in Africa and especially Nigeria. And so there's a word for reggae in Igbo. Now, it's pretty much similar to the English word for reggae, but when you see 2 letters together like that, double E's, you really are supposed to drag it out when you pronounce it. So you would say reggae, reggae for reggae, reggae, reggae. But it's pretty much the same. I think they'll understand you whether you say it reggae or you say reggae. People will know what you're talking about. All right, rock. And again, you have those special characters. The O with the dot underneath gives you that aw sound. And you see you got 2 of them together, so that means you drag it out when you say it. And the U with the dot underneath gives you the O sound. So rock, in other words for rock music would be Rau-Koe for rock. Rau-Koe for rock. All right, role. What role you play in a film. In other words, what character you are. Again, you're pretty much making an English word into Igbo, so it's going to be almost like saying an English word, but with an accent. So those 2 O's are literally what they are in English, O, but you drag it out because you got 2 together, and the U is basically you. So this is pretty much the way you would pronounce it in English, except you just drag it out a little bit. So it's Rou-Lue for roll. So again, Rou-Lue, roll. One more time, Rou-Lue, roll. All right, romance. So the genre of romance music, romance film, so forth and so on, it would be romansị, romansị for romance. And again, Roe-Mahn-See. And the only special character you have is the I with the dot underneath, so it gives you a different pronunciation. Almost like saying ink, ink, that high I sound. So it's romansị for romance. Romansị, romance. All right, last one, the scene in a movie. You would say Abba for scene. Abba for scene. So that GB actually is 1 character, and pretty much Very few people, including myself, that speak English as a first language can really pronounce it that way. I mean, the way that it really is supposed to be pronounced. So I just converted to a B. And most native speakers from Nigeria, from the Igbo tribe, will tell you if your English is your first language, just pronounce it as a B. But actually, it's a slightly different variation of a B sound. It's like a B and a G blended together. But I believe we can get away with it being Abba for sing. Again, Abba for sing. So thanks for joining me. And again, that's our 10 words for today. And the word for thank you is Imela, or you can say Dalo, either one, but I prefer Imela. And to be able to say have a good night is Kachifo. All right, have a good night. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.